And you got a throwback BSN shirt going on.
Yeah, indeed.
What is up, everybody, and welcome into the DNVR Nuggets podcast, Hump Day edition.
Hump Day? What day is it?
Guess what day it is?
The real ones know that's the greatest tweet of all time.
Still the greatest tweet. If you know, you know. Welcome in, everybody. We're presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Use promo code DNVR. Number one. My personal favorite.
I Googled top-rated sportsbook.
It really is, man. I have actually seen some of these other apps. So lame.
Dude, I tried to use the bottom-ranked sports app.
Oh, the worst one. Did you really use the bottom? Oh, that's crazy. But you guys, obviously, if you haven't signed up already, they got all those great deals. We'll tell you about them later on in the show. We have I've enjoyed, I'm telling you guys, I said this the other day, but I'm in full draft mode now. Like, I'm really into it now. And we got a guy tonight, not to spoil it. None of these guys I know until like the day before when it was like, okay, who are we doing tomorrow? Start doing the research. Big fan. Ziaire Williams. We're going to be talking about him. Very, very interesting prospect. Really, another one of these guys that some of these guys we're doing, it's like, they're probably going earlier or probably going way later. I don't know. Ziaire Williams is a guy that I think is going to be in that mid-20s, late 20s zone. So a very realistic, I think, option for Denver to take at that spot. And then later, as we always do on Wednesdays, guys, we're going to snake draft superpowers. We're going to snake draft superpowers. Eric is so excited about it. It's his idea. It was his idea. Stay to the end so you can see the show bottom out.
This bonus podcast is one for the ages.
But first, our top story tonight. Brendan Vogt is back.
Let's go.
What the heck?
I missed you,
dude.
How we missed you, man.
How did we start with it but still bury the lead? Brendan's back.
Well, because I had to tease the other stuff, otherwise it would
I know, but I'm saying
off.
no. I realize. I'm just saying, like
I want to pull back the curtain, let everyone know how easily we slide back into things here. Just the group chemistry. I was here for 10 seconds. Adam made a joke about my personal appearance, and I got offended. So
I know. I saw it in your eyes, man. I actually felt really bad.
I was so disappointed. I thought you were gonna say, "Wow, you look really tan," and you said. You said, I thought you'd look more tan, and I just can't win.
I think I look more tan than you, and I'm...
Eric's being a bully now. It's Eric.
I mean, look at this.
Too.
I'm number one, an Englishman, and number two, work on a computer all the time. What the
I
age?
think your color in your arm comes from the hair on your arm, Eric. I don't know that you're necessarily more tan.
Well, let's compare hands.
It's a very hairy arm you got there.
It's good to be back, though, fellas.
No, but seriously, like, you know, I have... friends and family members who like go on vacation and like dread. They get the Sunday scaries where you get scared of Monday. I saw a look in your eye that you had the Sunday scaries on a Wednesday because you were back at work, and it really made me sad.
Just like instant flood of anxiety and insecurity that I hadn't recognized in a week.
Wasn't a fan of that. But anyway, in all sincerity, we really are excited for you to be back. Tell us about your trip.
Oh man, it was awesome. I went to well, I don't know. Have you heard of Hawaii, Eric? Hawaii?
I've been to Hawaii.
Oh, you have?
You've been to Hawaii?
I'm 2 years old. I've been to a lot of places.
Every 40-year-old has been to Hawaii.
I've had a lot of life going on. Why are you surprised by it?
You've lived a very full life.
By the way, this was a real Hawaii. We once joked when I was out with COVID that you sent me on a all-expenses paid trip to Hawaii. This time I really did go. I had a great time. Anniversary trip with Michelle. We did a lot, man. Zip lining, hiking, tried to get on a surfboard, didn't work out.
It's harder than it looks, huh?
It is, and I'm not coordinated.
Was it a foam board you were on, or like an actual surfboard?
An actual surfboard.
Yeah, because the foam board, I've done the foam board before, and like I could get up on that in the little waves or whatever, but you get on a regular one, it's like, I don't even know what the point of the foam board was. I mastered that only to have it 0% translate to the real board.
Yeah, one time I went to Mexico, another place I've been.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
You've been everywhere.
And I was Cancun.
I love Cancun. It's my favorite vacation spot.
It had nothing to do with the NBA season. Anyway, it was during a hurricane. They didn't.
That's unfortunate.
They didn't get but they don't get the winds there because it was sheltered. Perhaps it was Puerto Vallarta. I can't remember. Anyway, I was boogie boarding, and the waves were so violent that I went directly into the sand. I messed up my back.
Oh man,
what a Toby story here.
No, it was cool though, man. Things were just sort of waking back up. The tourism mechanism there. It's been obviously a weird year, but it was really, to me, it was like back out there living life. And you know what? A sign of a good vacation, I'm ready to be back at work. Re-energized. I'm ready to go.
Hell yeah, man. I thought about you, honestly, every time I was like just waiting in line for something or putting gas in my car, just doing my normal everyday
whenever
stuff.
Your thoughts would drift off.
I wonder what Vogt's doing. Probably happy and peaceful.
You think, I wonder if Vogt's filling up his car right now.
At all times, I was drinking a Mai Tai, so that was
I believe that part too. Guys, tonight, Game 4 of the NBA Finals. I can't believe they gave the 3 days off in between Game 3 and 4. I kind of feel like that was a weird schedule choice.
It was the All-Star game.
Yeah.
MLB
Oh,
All-Star.
right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right, yeah.
But usually you would do that with a little bit of travel in between. And, 2 days ago when the Bucks won Game 3, I'm such a wishy-washy analyst on this, but when it's other teams I'm not really invested in. But, I've had Suns in 5, and I still stand by that. I think Suns get it done tonight. But watching Game 3, man, and Giannis and the way he played and, even Drew Holiday, I told you the other day I was rooting for the Bucks, and I was starting to feel the Bucks. I was like, you know what? This is replicable. What they did here, Giannis is doing it every single night. But 3 days off, I almost wonder, did that kill momentum? Because I feel like the last time they played was so long ago.
To me, it's all about the home court. It's about comfort level. It's about Suns feeling uncomfortable, Bucks feeling comfortable.
Right.
Again, like what you're talking about, what Giannis does, Giannis can always do.
Yeah.
And like the issue with the Suns last time is that Devin Booker made like 2 shots out of 40 or whatever.
Right.
But you're right. I don't know. Potentially, the time off allows the Suns to find their groove again. I really see this entire series going 7.
You made such a bet, didn't you?
I did. I made a bet.
Bucks and 7.
I wonder if it's more about rhythm too, right? Like Malone said, Jokic prefers to play every other day.
Right.
And look, these guys are pros; they'll adjust whatever. But I would wonder if that throws them off more than momentum, which, I think is a real thing. But also if Phoenix comes out and has a great first quarter, that whole thing's a wash anyway. So,
who are you rooting for, Vogt? Where's your heart?
Yeah, like you, I've changed a lot on that as well. I think I'm on the Bucks train, which I argued for it successfully. Shout out Judge D-Line. Just too many rootable guys. And that's what it comes down to. Also, I don't want to belabor the point because we've done it on this pod, but I'm like the Chris Paul.
Yeah.
My love for Chris Paul just peters out.
Every single time I watch Chris Paul, it's like 3 days are off, and I'm kind of like, well, whatever. If he gets one, it's fine. By second quarter night, I'm like, I hope he never wins one. And I hope
Exactly.
So annoying. Oh, burying the lead, actually, the real top story tonight. Last night in my rec league basketball game, full of 40-year-old men, such as myself. Some a-hole successfully pulled off the Trae Young shot fake, jump 3 feet forward, and draw a foul. I honestly almost quit basketball. I almost retired. I was that upset.
Like a ref called that?
The ref called it too. It's a ref I've known for 20 years. I couldn't believe we went outside the parking lot after as friends, but I went outside the parking lot and I had to argue about that. I was like, we cannot start allowing this in our recreational leagues.
You can just imagine Adam.
Oh, you absolutely can imagine. It was exactly like you picture. I've never seen it. I've never really seen it attempted, to be honest, but I really have never seen it called. Like this was a full-on 3-4 feet of space jumped forward into a defender, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. So,
well, listen, this is what the refs don't get. Think of both the children and the 40-year-old men.
So true.
You're infecting the whole community.
Really, everybody, man.
I know.
Broomfield will never be the same.
Yeah, you got to. Yeah, it's true. You have to, but also just the game.
Respect the game.
Just respect the game, bro.
I couldn't believe it, man. I was so offended by this, and so you're right. Chris Paul has to lose. You're obviously a Bucks.
I'm big time Bucks. Well, I picked the Bucks early. I picked the Bucks a couple of rounds ago, and I don't know how much of it has to do with the fact that I'm just still very salty about how the Nuggets series went, but I also just. But I don't know. I just have this long held belief that when things get tough, jump shots don't fall, and I just have a hard time steering away from that. I watched it happen in the last series with the Bucks.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
This, like boomer anti-shooting.
No, it's not. It's not anti-shooter. It's not anti-shooter. It's just like I just see it. I see one thing that works all the time, and another thing that like when it hits, it's like unstoppable. But it like is so temperamental, and when it doesn't work, it looks so bad.
I think it comes down to there's few players for me more likable than Giannis, and you just watch him and he's playing so great, and you see like it was so painful. Not to belabor this where we talk about other analysts all the time. It's one of the things we do a lot, but like when you see him dominate in games 1 and 2 and people come out and are like, when he's good, he doesn't make his teammates better. And you're like, oh my God, what are we doing here? It's just so annoying. You know, that's why he's the Robin or whatever. Like it pushes me even further into all of the little things people say about him. And now you're like, man, if he just dominates and scores 40 every single night, like nobody's ever done, I'm here for that.
It's also like, even if this is the year he gets it done, right? asterisk, however you want to look at it, the planets align. Who cares? Like, it's so hard to get it done. He's good enough. He's in this position, and you just want him to do.
They also have injuries, though. I mean, I know it's a little one, but DiVincenzo is like he would have played and had an impact in the series. So
yeah, 100%. So yeah, I'm definitely rooting for him. How could you? Honestly, as a fan of sport, I think Giannis is objectively likable, and getting behind him should be something everyone should be in. So.
Well, not accurate according to like 90% of the analysts on ESPN for whatever reason.
I think aesthetically and like especially in crunch time, he can be a frustrating watch. The deficiencies are real, as transcendent as he is, but who he is, what he represents, how he got from point A to point B in his career, and how quickly he did it, and the way he insists on carrying himself along the way. At a certain point, it's like, well, what's left of the checkbox, right, for superstars that we ask for every day?
So true. Like, and this is like, I mean, as much as we hate like narrative-driven basketball, where you choose the narrative first and then backfill it with whatever happens.
Yeah.
Like, I'm totally doing that with Giannis. I just want this to work out. Like, I want the small market guy to win. I want I want justice. I want, I just want the big markets to falter. Not that Phoenix is a big market, obviously, but like, I just love the whole idea of everything that's involved in it. And and honestly, I can just see a path for it. But again, I am very clouded when it comes to this entire thing.
Plus, with the Suns, we got this whole thing where they won't stop fighting each other. And
man, this keeps happening. Did you see the latest?
Yes, and I remember
it was with each other, right?
Yes, yeah. They've turned now to infighting.
we touched on this a few weeks ago. Like at first, getting sucker punched, defending yourself. None of us are that gonna get on a soapbox about that. But the way it was embraced, publicized, put on a pedestal, and then the same team has to tweet out, all right, please stop punching. We're sorry about that. Please stop fighting each other.
We really regret that we encouraged this.
It's backfiring.
That's so funny.
Oh, that's so rough.
Giannis, man. The other thing about Giannis that I like, I think, perfectly handles his open weaknesses. Right, like his free throw shooting hasn't been great, this or that. But one of the things I like about him, like everybody now, the crowds all chant it, this or that. Like he, unlike a Ben Simmons or some of these guys that won't shoot because they're afraid to, like Giannis seems to understand that I just have to do this. It's like a thing I have to do. Like I'm great at basketball, I suck at free throws, but I just step to the line, and you could see like sometimes he goes up and misses them, but he approaches them the exact same every single way. Now there's some like you can almost appreciate about. It's like a fighter that like keeps getting knocked down. It's like I just have to keep getting back up because I know eventually it'll work out.
Yeah, like he's Rocky.
I hate this, but I have no choice but to respect it.
I feel like purely anecdotal. I'm sure I'll look at the stats and it'll prove this wrong. But it seems like when they start counting, it like helps him. Like he gets more into his rhythm. Like it's like sort of has it affected him?
I think because they count fast.
Well,
like,
they count
it's not
fast,
like
but
one Mississippi, two Mississippi. They're like 1, 2, 3.
Well, they do.
They get to 10 by 7 seconds.
They do, but to me, it becomes then part of the routine. It's like a metronome.
Did you guys see the video? You feel the same way?
Post countdown, yeah.
But the funny thing is so like Giannis likes to catch he has a routine. And the problem is his routine really is 12 seconds. And one of the ways he gets out of this is he starts his routine before he gets the ball.
Yeah.
But refs will sometimes pass him the ball early. And there was a video of it the other day where he catches it and he looks at the ref and he's like, bro. And then and it was kind of funny to me. He's like, yeah, like he's so into that routine. It kind of cracks me up.
I just love that no one ever thought this rule was ever going to rear its head. Even the person who thought of it, let's put this down in the rule, just in case. In case. NBA Finals, major talking point.
Wes Unseld Jr. in Nuggets news here. Wes Unseld Jr. now finds himself in a 3-way tie for the job, or there's 3 finalists. It was Darvin Ham, also former Denver Nuggets assistant coach.
Oh, look at us.
We really have a little connection there. I can't remember who the third name was. Was it Charles Lee? Don't really know. Buck's assistant Charles Lee has also emerged as a finalist. So Darvin Ham, Wes Unseld. I gotta say, I have no in on this. Like I'm just reading the same reports as everybody. I'm not really poking around either on this. I feel like Wes Unseld now, this is the second year in a row where it's been like Wes Unseld is the leading candidate.
Yeah.
And then a week later it's one of 3 finalists and then doesn't end up getting it. And you're like, man, what's going on here?
This is the Brian Shaw thing. Brian Shaw was the leading candidate for a bunch of jobs. And then he finally got the Denver job. And I was like, yes, a steal. And then I was like, oh man, we got duped.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's also weird because it's Washington, right? Where you'd think
just gets
him over the hump, right? If there's any sort of tiebreaker there. So yeah, it's a kind of, I was bummed to see that because I'm really rooting for him to get this gig.
I am too, man. It's weird to me that this is the exact same thing I felt too. Is like when I've seen these come out, I'm like, man. When I saw Mosley got the Orlando job, it's kind of like, damn, man. Like, and not because I want to get rid of West, just because I'm rooting for the guy. So,
Right.
Just kind of interesting there. All right, we have a fan vote to get to.
Oh, wow. Dude, man, this was a really, really fun one. I went to Washington Park with Aaron Patterson, the producer, who, by the way, shoots, edits, produces these things. He's great. And I met some folks, and I asked them some very, very important highbrow questions. And I think that's enough of a tease. So let's...
And to be clear, Adam and I also seeing this for the first time. So
yeah, of course.
When you come back and you see our faces, that's our real reaction.
That's our real reaction. Can't wait for this. Don't get us fired, vote.
What's up, guys? This is Brendan Vogt. I'm out here at Washington Park, ready to meet some strangers, harass some strangers. Look, another week has passed. I've got another list of questions here, from Facu to Jokic to Geese to fighting. I've got a long list of questions. I'm curious, and these strangers who have yet to meet me, hopefully they have the answers. Let's do this. All right, guys, I'm standing here in nature with nature. That's your name, correct?
Yes, sir.
Love that name. You just told us an interesting fun fact about you with regard to the Denver Nuggets. Can you elaborate?
On July 13th, they're holding an open tryout for 200 registrators. 3 people get to make the camp if they qualify, and point guard position.
Are you better than Jokic? My man. Are you a Nuggets fan? All right, we'll find someone else. All right, I'm here with Mike, who, Mike, you're not a Nuggets fan, are you? You're a Warriors fan?
Dubs all day.
All right, we're gonna cut this guy. We're gonna cut this guy out. Just cut him out. Would you rather that every food tastes like a hot dog for the rest of your life, or that every drink tastes like pickle juice?
Oh, pickle juice.
He's into the pickle juice.
Have you taken pickle shots?
Have I taken pickle shots? No. No, you guys are into some weird shit in the Bay, man. Yeah. All right, I'm standing here with Zach, who is not a Nuggets fan. Zach, what's your favorite basketball team?
The Utah Jazz.
Listen, I gotta ask you a very important would you rather. Okay. Would you rather build your basketball team around Rudy Gobert or Nikola Jokic?
Gobert.
Oh, Zach, I know you don't mean that. I know you don't, but you're a good fan. Thank you so much for your help. I appreciate you, brother. All right, come back. Come back. Okay, we're on the move. I've got a quick would you rather. Would you rather fight a goose or raise one as a pet for the rest of its life?
Raise one as a pet for the rest of its life.
That's good. A lot of people are here. They're violent answers.
It's so nice.
Oh, that one's too easy. I'll just fight the goose.
A little dark.
To do that, yeah.
He's been wanting to fight you. A little dark, but...
And, like the babies and they hiss at you, like you kind of want to kick them.
Yeah. Yeah, like when you're threatening their family and they get defensive, you want to attack them.
It's an instinct I can sympathize with or empathize with, but like, at the same time, it's kind of like, fuck you.
Fuck them geese.
He would outdo me in the post.
My man! My man! My man. All right, I'm out here with a Denver Nuggets fan. His name is Gunnar, and I've got some questions for Gunnar, but first and foremost, I have to ask you, the black eye, man, what happened? Would you rather fight, and I know you're a fighter, would you rather fight one Jokic-sized Facu or 3 Facu-sized Jokic's?
Probably 3 Facu-sized Jokic's.
Talk to me, why?
Because Jokic isn't too fast, and if he's already pretty small, then I think I got a chance with all 3.
Okay, like a little ableist towards short people, but good answer. Good answer. I like it. All right, I'm standing here with Jake, who looks an awful lot like a mixed martial artist. Before I get into the question, Jake, I did meet a guy in this park earlier. His name was Gunnar. He had a black eye. You had nothing to do with that, right?
I had absolutely nothing to do with that.
All right, okay. We got to make sure because a lot of violence in this park today.
Volleyball's a violent sport.
It's very violent.
You step in there and it's like a court. It's like the octagon, but it's called the square.
That's right. Wow, I did not know that. Okay, so I got to ask you. It is a rectangle, right?
It is a rectangle.
Would you rather fight one Facu-sized Jokic or 3? What's the question? I always blow this. It's one Jokic-sized Facu or 3 Facu-sized Jokic's. I got it. Okay. Would you rather fight one Facu-sized Jokic? I fucking blew it again, didn't I? Would you rather every food taste like hot dogs for the rest of your life, or every drink taste like pickle juice?
Every drink tastes like pickle juice.
Why?
I'm into pickle juice.
Into pickle juice. Would you say like a normal amount or like a weird amount?
Like a normal amount. I enjoy some pickle shots and all that, but I rather things taste salty than hot doggy.
Hot dogs are kind of gross, aren't they?
They are, especially watching the hot dog eating contests.
This is my guy. I found my guy. Dude, that guy needs to go to jail. Joey Chestnut.
Just strive for greatness, bro, honestly. Whether or not you're small, tall, big, wide, skinny, the pole or the basketball, you can strive for greatness either way.
We are witness. Thank you so much, Nature. Appreciate you, brother. Good luck, all right? Have a good one.
Fantastic.
Thank you. I did not ask for permission to film that child, so I'm sorry, Spano, if the entire empire comes crumbling down. I did. I'm kidding.
Wow, just incredible artistic choices made throughout that interview. I'm gonna be honest. Don't think Nature has a great shot, man.
Yeah. I couldn't believe. I asked him if he thinks he's better than Jokic. And it was a 3-minute answer.
Wow.
What was this?
It wasn't just no, and that was the part that I.
It wasn't. Was it yes?
Not quite.
Okay.
It was somewhere in between no and yes.
As you saw, we talked to Nature for quite some time.
Wow.
Good sport though. Shout out to all my friends who helped me out.
I wonder who is the person that told him there's a tryout to make the Nuggets team. 'Cause I don't think that's how it works.
Yeah, I don't know. I also like how I didn't even bother confirming that. We're just gonna run with it. It's good journalism. I did. I
know. In hindsight, you are more tan.
Thanks. Than you were. We've come full circle. Yeah. So anyway, I was just excited to show everyone my upper half, and I'm sorry for the blinding alabaster nature of that last shot there.
It was. Hey, that was incredible. It's one of my favorite bits we've ever done.
I'm already thinking about next week.
Oh man,
I'm excited.
I love it. All right, let's hit our first break. On the other side, guys, Ziaire Williams, very interesting, tantalizing prospect. Eric might say.
I might.
You might say that.
Would you say it like 2 or 3 times in a row? Because I forgot to
Just
log
say,
in and look up the traffic.
Say it over
we have some ads we have to search for here. Some things never change.
Hey, have you guys ever heard of Breckenridge Brewery?
I have.
It's
official
the
beer partner.
Official beer of DNVR. They also have regular seltzers. We sell those at the bar. Hey, you guys know we love Breck Brew and seltzer. You also know because we've told you all summer long the tragic fires in Colorado are absolutely devastating for so many. That's why Breck is donating 1% of all profits this summer to the National Parks Conservation Association. That's right. All you got to do is buy some booze and you do some good. That's an easy move there. We're going to be hosting some fun events at the DNVR bar to promote this collaboration. You can also enter to win a $30,000 escape pod trailer if you go to that's messed up. So we'll get back. If you go to breckbrew.com/ingoodco, that's breckbrew.com/ingoodco, CO like Colorado. Don't forget, Farmhouse is still open. If you're more comfortable at home, you can order curbside pickup from 12 to 8 p.m. Order delicious food and booze. Use code DNVR to save $5 on your order. Call 303-803-1380 from 12 to 8 p.m. Friends, that's the deal with Breck Brew. I wore my Manscaped shirt to the dog park yesterday.
What? I didn't know you were that classy.
Wow.
I'm that much of a company man, and someone recognized me, and they said I wasn't sure it was you, and then I saw a giant shirt that says "Your balls will thank you," and I thought to myself, what kind of asshole would wear that to the park? But hey, you know who's not an asshole? Anyone who uses Manscaped and uses code DNVR, you get free shipping and $20 off. Check out that Lawnmower 4.0. It's the best way to scape your man, yourself. Don't forget about men's grooming, fellas. It's important and it's really easy with Manscaped.
Great work, my man.
Great
my man. It's funny. The Manscaped shirt is my second favorite shirt of yours, followed very closely by no shirt.
Thank you. That guy, he was sure. I didn't tell him. I just took my shirt off for no reason. It was so awkward. He was a good sport, though.
That's fantastic. Some great characters at Wash Park. That might be our new go-to for the fan vote.
Yeah, all we're missing is some Nuggets fans. We're getting there.
We're getting closer. We're getting closer. Warriors and Jazz. All right, so Ziaire Williams, really interesting prospect here. I know, Eric, you got a chance to take a look at him here. Let me give you the rundown by him. First thing you need to know, he was a consensus 5-star recruit. You know, you've got the rivals, you got the different ones, ESPN. He was a consensus 5-star recruit coming out of high school. He was another player that sort of had a disappointing freshman season in college, underperformed, and he fell from where he was projected to go. The number 1 small forward in the country as a high school prospect. He went to Sierra Canyon, by the way, played alongside Bronny James and Ziaire Wade, so he was the second Ziaire on the team.
I'm sure he loved that.
But at Stanford, so he goes to Stanford. First of all, the interesting thing, he went to Stanford, an interesting try. I'm always curious about the schools these guys pick. We talk about that. But he went to Stanford. He had a triple-double in January this season. 12 points, 12 rebounds, 10 assists. You don't see triple-doubles very often at the college level, especially from freshmen. So, when we talk about being, maybe he was a little disappointing or his draft stock fell or whatever, still he showed the flashes of being this very unique talent. And you can actually, it's funny that you had the thing up now because I think now is like the great time to bring it up. There we go. So the 3 pros, I think the 3 biggest pros you look at him: playmaking, length. He's 6'8", 185. This is the first thing you should know about him. 6'8", 185, 6'11" wingspan. It is hard to find any players that have those measurables. For example, Will Barton is an inch shorter and came in at 185. Corey Brewer is about that height. So he actually, I think the best body you could compare him to is Corey Brewer. So he's basically Corey Brewer sized person. But 185 is really skinny.
Yes.
Really skinny.
I love that his cons are shooting, finishing, and strength, which is basically basketball.
Yeah, it's always tough.
Well, it's honestly all strength-related things, I think.
Sure.
So that's what's kind of...
I know, I was thinking the same thing. Cons, not very good.
I'll be honest with you guys. I'm not to sort of... I'm a big fan. I'm really intrigued by him because I think he is an extremely high upside prospect. We talk about we're picking 26. There's only so far that we've done maybe 2 players that I've looked at so far and thought, oh, that has like all-star potential or maybe not all-star, but close to all-star potential. Most of the guys have a ceiling on them that's like maybe he's a starter, maybe this or that. I think that Ziaire Williams is one of the guys that I would put on and say, while it's unlikely, he has the ability to maybe be an all-star caliber player because he's a really dynamic. Part of this is his body, 6'8", 6'11" wingspan, but he's got really great footwork. First of all, very fluid athlete. For a guy 6'8", I think there's a chance he could be like a combo guard forward. So it could be a little bit. He could maybe play some 2, or even play primarily 2 with a little bit of 3. But at 6'8", if he was a 2, there's not. I mean, how many other guys like that are there in the NBA? Not very many. So extremely fluid. You see he has a lot of one dribble pull-up moves, and the footwork on them is fantastic. So I don't know if I would say he is a good This is the second day in a row, by the way, Brandon Spano has called me during our show. Isn't that hilarious?
He's at that level of CEO now where it's like
they had no idea we have a show.
Yep, 100%.
He's like, what show? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. But you see a lot of these one dribble, 2 dribble moves, and it's just really great footwork. It's funny. I remember watching Jason Tatum in high school. This is going to be funny because I'm comping him now to Jason Tatum. But it stood out to me how technically sound he was with his footwork. Like, he wasn't quite as effective yet, but I always thought there really are 2 types of people when you talk about development. Guys that like work on moves and the moves look like textbook, and then there's guys that work on moves and it looks like weird and just like whatever reason. And he's one of, I think he's the first type where sometimes you'll see some of the footwork and moves on here and you're like, oh yeah, that was a move he worked on a lot and he's just perfected the movements of it. So I think that's really promising, that fluid athlete.
And kind of like capable of some, I guess, unorthodox sort of moves, right? With the footwork and the changing of pace. And
so he almost reminds me of Will Barton in some way. I mean, part of this is the body, and maybe this is just, it's funny. People always would talk about LeBron James didn't look like Kobe Bryant because Kobe Bryant, everything looked perfect. But I think part of this is like LeBron's big, and big people just look awkward. And I wonder if skinny people look a little unique too, because a lot of his moves are very Will Barton-esque, where they're just like wiry and long, long-limbed. But he has great balance on his pull-up jumpers too. Sometimes you see when guys get moving, like they're always falling or weak or this or that. Like you'll see a lot of these moves where you look at that perfect shoots in a phone booth, very up and down. You see him here; he'll go into a little sidestep, but just very balanced. You see how his feet land at the same time and everything. So I think there's like a really good. I say all this to say I think there's a really good foundation in there that some guys you look at and say I don't think they'll ever be shooters. Some guys have a prayer or have a chance. I think he has a chance.
I'm interested, Rayvon, he always brings up DeRozan. It's one of his favorite players, and I'm curious if there's any sort of. Do you see that at all as a guy who, through his footwork and size, can maybe
DeRozan's a technically sound player, so there I get the comp there because you're talking and right now he is a lot of mid range because we'll talk about this in a second, but he's afraid to go to the rim. He doesn't finish well. He's afraid, so a lot of it is if he's not shooting a catch and shoot three, the moves get him to the foul line and then a pull up jumper. But the thing that makes me excited about him is that I think he's a very good playmaker from what I've seen, like a really good passer. So he's got the fluid movements. He's got the length and measurables that I like, although he's a little skinny. But you know what? A lot of guys in the NBA are skinny and it works. Tayshaun Prince, Kevin Durant, Will Barton, Corey Brewer.
Also, there's plenty of time to put weight on.
He looks like a guy that putting weight on is going to get him to 205. Right. So he's going to be a skinny guy, I think, all the time. But but he's so long that I think that it works. But what I really like is his passing and playmaking. You see some of these passes; they're not basic. They're pretty. I'm not going to say like a special passer, but I think a very competent one. Can he be a Will Barton-esque playmaker? I think so.
Or even like Aaron Gordon-esque, right? In terms of like tertiary
I think better.
Stuff.
I think better. I think a little bit better as a playmaker. Or at least that's some of the upside.
So that's obviously encouraging in terms of fit with any team, especially Denver. But what about a lot of these highlights are like him creating for himself?
Yep.
Does he have a nose for cutting and that sort of thing and being a non-high usage finisher, if that makes sense?
I really can't. I don't know about the high usage part because I don't know that he was necessarily a high usage guy. There was some shot selection stuff, but he's a freshman, and it wasn't like some of the other guys we've talked about where it's like, man, this is a gunner. I don't think he's a gunner, but I do think he's probably a little bit more used to, I haven't seen a lot of like great cutting or off-ball stuff from him. That being said, I do think he's a smart player, and so cutting and that kind of stuff is a thing I think can be learned. And also
he's a Stanford man.
And also Jokic, I've talked about this so much. Length is so big. Like Jokic loves throwing to tall receivers, and if he was a 2, that's a really tall receiver. Yeah, I think he would be the beneficiary of a lot of that backdoor cutting because if he's being guarded by Gary Harris, who's 6'4", he just has so much wiggle room there. So I think as a playmaker is what really makes me excited, and it raises one of the questions. Matt Moore actually brought this up, or me and Matt Moore discussed it on Locked On Nuggets last night. But if we assume a starting 4 of Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter, Jokic, and Jamal Murray, would your shooting guard is the open spot? Let's assume it's a good defender no matter what. Would you rather have a good defender who's also a great three-point shooter, or a good defender who's also a good playmaker?
For me, we talked about this a little bit. For me, it's always the shooting when it comes to flanking people next to Nikola Jokic. Like Nikola Jokic is obviously special when it comes to finding people that are wide open. And I just watched the Denver Nuggets get vanquished by not being able to make any outside shots. It just seems like that, and that's sort of the archetype we've always talked about. Is just like can you just put Nikola Jokic in the middle of the court as the center of the wheel and just put spokes out of just 5 guys or 4 other guys that can just knock it down, and then is that guardable? Is that defendable?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that you're wrong. Denver also lost, I think, in part by an inability to get these like mid-range jumpers off of pick and roll in particular. I mean, you see how that's a pretty good like handle and tight space there for a guy his height.
Yeah, he's definitely interesting. This guy.
I mean, he's taller than like Aaron Gordon, and then you see these passes that he's very good at making in tight spaces and on the pick and roll. So
yeah, like the resume and the
very athletic.
And obviously it's funny. Like we were talking earlier, it's funny when you watch a highlight package, you're like, what can't this guy do?
Yeah,
he's
of course.
Shooting 100%.
Yeah, look at him. Look at these threes off of the dribble. Wow, is he Steph Curry?
Right, but then I watched a few other videos that sort of went through some of the lowlights, and it although it did explain, all things being, you sort of have to take everything into consideration.
So he shot 29% from 3, but it was like 26 attempts or something.
Yeah. And also the particulars of the actual season that he just went through, where Stanford was really put in a weird position because of the state of California not allowing them to really play. So they were on the road the whole time, and it was just like a very disjointed situation. So this guy definitely seems like, he's got the intangibles, and he's got the he just looks the part. And
these shots, though, to me, they just look balanced. They look good. They look fluid. Like sometimes look. I remember Wesley Johnson had the most beautiful jumper, never put in. Like it was the most beautiful thing.
Totally.
And then you got guys with an ugly one, but like his jumper to me looks pretty good. I'm not maybe I'm just being optimistic because I like the guy's skill set,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm less worried about his jumper than I am certain other guys because it just looks like something that could be grown upon. And by the way, as a high school recruit, he was a shooter. So there's also it's like Zeke Naji.
Right.
Last year, Zeke Naji didn't shoot well, and everyone's like, I'm not sure if he can hit the three. Clearly, he can.
And the great Ryan Blackbird pointed out in his breakdown of him on Stiffs that there are a bunch of guys in recent memory who were considered scorers in high school, did not shoot well in college, and then since then have been drafted and look fine.
Right.
I think shooting is something that if a guy has, encouraging sort of traits, you feel comfortable can develop.
Yeah.
Having a mind for playmaking, not everyone develops that over time.
Yeah.
I do think it's the harder skill to teach. So I wonder if there's more value there just from that standpoint of he's young and you can add to his game.
Yeah, playmaking seems like something that's just you've got it or you don't. It's like court vision. You can't. That's a superpower, some would say.
No, wow. Court vision's gonna come. He's just gonna make himself Jokic. Octopus arms, great vision, charismatic,
Horses,
and
top
horse
human.
whispering. So if we get to some of the negatives, so there we go. I think if you look at him, he can be a playmate. I mean, he almost, in some ways, I do think there's hope that he could become a 6'8" Will Barton, which is kind of interesting. Like, Will Barton's shot also kind of gross looking coming into the league. He reworked it, and now he's a pretty reliable 39-40% three-point shooter.
It's still
he's
kinda
got
gross
that
looking,
playmaking.
frankly.
Will Barton, I think, is just a little bit plays a lot tougher. Even back then, he played a lot tougher. You could tell he was a Baltimore guy. As I learned, from talking to Tim Conley and all these guys, that there's a Baltimore style, and a lot of it comes from playing in these tight, tiny gyms where it's like the only way you can score is to go to the rim. So like every player just attacks the
and
basket.
you're just like you're just full of Old Bay spices all the time. You just have to figure
full
out
of Old Bay spices. No, but so I don't know that he's going to have that same like tenacious attacking as Will Barton, but he's also an inch taller, with a meaning that's quite a bit, and very mobile defensively. He's very skinny, and I think that he is pretty good at getting over and through screens. He's actually extremely fluid laterally. So while I don't know that he's going to be like a lockdown defender, he is a 6'8", very mobile. I think he's like Will Barton defensively if Will Barton was 6'8". And just think about that. Like, he's going to be taller and longer than almost everybody he guards should he be a 2.
And then obviously that's where you'd like to say versatility is there in theory, but obviously that's where the strength and conditioning will come into play. Because if you have, I think to get the most out of a guy like that, you want to be able to say he's at least guarding 2 through 4 comfortably at least. Right. And the 4s might be a stretch, so.
He's just very mobile, very fluid athlete for that height. You don't see that too often. I think I read somewhere that his dad is like I can't remember if he was a drill sergeant or just in the military or mom or something like that. And I know it's
prime for Michael Malone. It's tutelage.
I think maybe it was his mom actually. And I always wonder, like, look, everybody's different. There's no thing that's like, oh, that means he is this, but. Sometimes like the military family background does lead to like, okay, you're ready for Michael Malone to yell at you, and you're ready for like, hey, you're here to work. Like, to me, he is probably more of a project player where it's like you're going to come in and be in the G League for 1 year, and then hopefully next year you can start to contribute.
Right. Another concern. I mean, 26 would be on like the low end of his range, right? I mean, he's a guy who could go earlier than that.
I think he's in the 20s though. So yes, but I think it is more like 24 to 30 is where I keep seeing him. So maybe he does go a little bit higher. I think he good defensive awareness, seems to rotate really well as well. He's a freshman, so there were some times, some of the clips I saw, like, okay, he got lost a little bit here or there, but I think generally speaking for a freshman, he was pretty good at rotating hard and playing hard on defense. So poor finisher at the rim. All of his weaknesses are actual weakness. He's really weak, and he's a poor finisher at the rim, both as an actual finisher, but also as going to the rim. He just doesn't go to the rim very much.
Yeah.
And I think somebody said 14. I think I saw a thing that said he was 14 of 26 at the rim. Which you think 26 shots at the rim for a 6'8" guy?
That is crazy. That's
not very many.
That's as many 3-pointers as you just said he shot.
Right, exactly. So
and not a great 3-point shooter, but he does love the pull up long too.
Loves that pull up, which is making a re-emergence. Thank you. Shout out Kawhi. Shout out Chris Paul.
Hey man, they're talking about some good players. And so he does avoid contact. I'm much more concerned. I think for him to be the player I hope he could be, one, he has to be able to play the 2 at least a little bit, and I'm not sure. We'll have to see. I think most people talk about him like a small forward. Maybe he could be some kind of combo there. Maybe Denver's positionless style lends itself to being able to do this. But he has to either become a better finisher at the rim or a better shooter. If he becomes both, he's he can be a star caliber player, maybe shy of all-star, but a very, very, very good player. But if he gets one of those two, I think he's good. I would bet more on the shot part. So playmaking, shooter, but not a finisher.
Where does he fall for you, roughly, in terms of guys we've talked about so far?
Right up there. Grimes is right up there, and I think Ziaire is right up there for me in those two guys. Grimes, the thing about Grimes is I think he is more of a sure thing than most of the guys we talked about. And he's a sure thing as in, like, I think he plays. I think he's a rotation piece very quickly. Maybe the first year, but certainly second year. But I don't think he's a star. I don't even know if he's a starter. Zaire's might suck, but he has the potential that he could actually be. You get him for like 6 years, and he completes your 5-man roster in a way that's awesome.
I know, man. I'm definitely like living that grime life. It's all about grime and punishment over here. I don't know.
Any other ones you want to go to?
It's all about
grimes and misdemeanors, maybe.
It's all about grimes and misdemeanors.
A true grime story.
It's all about a true grime story. I don't know, something about him and his poise on the 1 minute of film that I watched just really captured my heart. But I mean, this guy is interesting. You know, as we talk it through, you know, you could certainly see the potential. I mean, you can see things that look like what successful NBA players do. It's just obviously when you try and when you look at the weaknesses being, again, shooting, strength, and finishing, it gives you a little bit of pause on this particular gent. So I don't know. I mean, but I certainly would not be upset if we got a project of this caliber. Somebody comes
especially
in
with a G League team. Now, right?
I was just going to say, like, the concept of developing players now is like so much more in play than it ever has been before for the Nuggets.
I think he is more likely to be. I think another thing for him is he's more likely to be a small forward. And here's the thing, man. Like right now, Michael Porter and Aaron Gordon penciled in for that 3-4 spot, and I think probably for, obviously for next year. But is Gordon a part of the long-term plans? Don't know. Right. Zeke Naji, I think there's a world in which Zeke Naji and Porter become the 3-4 combo in some capacity. Definitely. And then you're talking about if your foursome is Murray, Jokic, Zeke Naji, who turns out to be the best version of himself, and Michael Porter, that's 4 great shooters. Can you afford to have one less? Then I don't know if, again, I don't think he's a shooting guard. I think he's more of a small forward. So, there's that whole thing. But for a long time, you know what he is? A long boy. And for a long time, I've thought, like, okay, if you get mobile, because he is very mobile, if you get mobile length, maybe you can make that work. Where he's not really a 2, but can you get away with that because he's just so long and you switch everything?
And the other, he is a long boy, emphasis on boy. Like he's a boy. He's young. Like there's a lot of time to develop. There's a lot of time to figure some things out. Like we've seen so many people. I mean, when we were talking about it this early on before the show, it's like R.J. Hampton we had a lot of like clear deficiencies. Like he didn't play well. And
you want me to ruin him for you? You know who another like physical comp he has?
Okay.
Keita Bates-Diop. Very similar to Keita.
Well, I don't know, dude.
He's a little skinnier. He's like skinnier than Keita. Keita Bates-Diop, by the way, should have been good based on his physical profile. He's like 6'9" with like a 7'3" wingspan.
Yeah, but that was like if you didn't watch him move. The second I watched Keita Bates-Diop move, I was like, oh, this is a disaster.
He had that Trey Young's Trey Lyles.
He had like kind of a pigeon foot thing. Like everything was just like awkward and glommy, and like it just was not.
He had the Peter Corneli intensity to him, where you're kind of like, do you like basketball?
Do you know why we're here?
You want to do it? So I don't know, but he is a long boy.
It's true. There's quite a few long boys out there though. Some they don't always pay.
He might be the longest.
I don't know if he, so raw, and it's so. Is it? Maybe the guy you want to trade up for, like probably not.
I don't think you trade up. But I don't think Denver can trade up.
Yeah, they don't really have the middling assets for that. But should he still be around at 26? You look at it and you go, talent value this late in the first. You're that much more willing to take a raw guy.
Yeah, this does feel like much more of a flyer, but with the idea being that that risk reward, like this could really pan, like you're saying. I mean. If your eyes are seeing somebody that could potentially be an all-star, like
There's certain skills I just like and appreciate, and like an ability. Passing is obviously way high on that list for me. And he had some passing chops that I think, like, okay, could he be a secondary ball handler? I think he could. But again, positionally is the tough part because I think he's probably much more of a small forward. I don't think he's a power forward. I don't see that happening. He's too little.
I think you have to possess power.
Yeah,
right.
That's a good point.
Strength being one of his weaknesses.
Strength being one of the weaknesses. His shot doesn't scare me though. I am interested. He has a lot more upside than a lot of the guys we're going to see. I'll tell you anecdotally, one of the things I keep seeing as I'm researching these guys, and we're about maybe a third the way through the prospects that we'll scout for the Nuggets. What have we done? Like 9 or 10. We'll probably end up scouting about 30 guys that fall anywhere. 15 above and 15 below, basically at 26 spot. One of the things I keep seeing is disappointing freshman year. And you think about how crazy this year was.
That's what I'm saying. Like especially to play in California.
Right. Yeah. That's a good point.
You're not allowed to play.
And it's California high school too. So.
Yeah. They weren't allowed to play in their arena. They had to play on the road almost the entire season, if not the entire season. So that's difficult.
Yeah. So I just wonder, I keep seeing that with so many of these players where it's like he was supposed to be better, had a bit disappointing, but the potential's still there. And hey, man, maybe that's a sign of the times as much as anything. I don't know. Any other final thoughts on Ziaire? Where's he for you guys? I get the sense you don't like him.
I like him okay. I just, I do like him. I'm just scared by the idea that a guy can't shoot. And I'm scared by the idea that, that could come, that couldn't come. I'm not off of him at all. Like I obviously I've watched jump shots develop in the NBA. I've watched players get better in the areas that he's deficient. I think I just am so in love with some of the other guys that we've seen that I'm my heart is closed.
Yeah,
no vacancy.
I like it, man. I mean, look, there's a whole first layer here, which is sort of a draft philosophy thing at this point, right? And where Denver's at in terms of adding playable guys. But upside in Denver, like that's been a good combination. Malone's getting a lot out of talented players, and the Nuggets have drafted well. So I like it.
All right, well, let's take a break here. On the other side, as we do every Wednesday, we snake draft. This is going to be our hardest, most difficult one to snake draft. Superpowers.
Which, again, we talked about this. Like, superpowers are made up. So really,
that's right.
We're not drafting from a pool of things that are real.
I got off a red eye this morning instead of researching superpowers.
Welcome back. The power to control volcanoes.
One of the top superpowers in the world is being super drunk on illegal peats. They've launched Party Margs during the pandemic, 32 ounces of their house margarita. For anyone doing math at home.
I'm like the full Avengers when it comes to that superpower.
Yeah, that's 4 times the size of a normal margarita. So quick math, that's 4 times as drink. Nice. They have happy hour at all locations from 3 to 6 p.m. every day. $1 off all drafts, $1 off house margs, and coin style margs. Don't know what that is, but it's $1 off.
Coin style margs.
And then the $20 party margs, $1 off large chips and queso. The queso is always like a big draw. If you're going to Legal Pete's, you're gonna enjoy that. And obviously by now you should know about that sound check promotion. If you are going to a Denver sporting event, bring your ticket to an Illegal Pete's that same day. You will get a free draft beer or house marg with the purchase of an adult entree. Illegal Pete's, check them out. Home of the stir, baby.
Home of the stir, baby.
Home of the stir. As you guys know, if you were to Google,
but you don't have to stir
the top, but you don't have to. You don't want to. If you were to Google the top-rated sportsbook app,
I bet it says DraftKings.
In America, it says DraftKings.
What?
I'm just telling you the facts.
This is the first time hearing of it.
Well, listen, speaking of America, our top athletes are all over Tokyo competing for the gold. And I saw the crew team fly over there. And they got announced on the same plane I was at, my flight to Hawaii.
What?
And everyone got really excited. Olympic athletes. You heard murmurs. Is that the swim team? Is that the swim team? They announced it's the crew team. The murmurs immediately died out. They're just like, all right.
It's funny.
Not quite as exciting. But 100-to-1 odds right now if you place any pre-event wager of $1 to be eligible to cash $100 in free credits if America wins any medal this year. Spoiler alert.
I don't like it.
We win medals typically at these things. 100-to-1 odds.
Hate us because they ain't us, right?
Like this doesn't come around often. Doesn't come around often unless you're subscribed to DraftKings Sportsbook. Then it comes around all the time. We call them no-brainers because you'd have to lack a brain to pass these up. Must be 20 or older. Colorado only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
Guys, there's an odds boost here. I'm just going to inform you.
What?
Giannis to score 40 or
points.
more. Are you taking it?
That was last night. I don't know. He's done it 2 games in a row. It seems like he'll do it again. What's the juice?
How come it says plus 350, but I can't, when I click on
Plus
it, it doesn't
350.
show
I'm
up.
absolutely taking it. Are you guys familiar? Were you aware of the absolute bank heist odds boost that we all got in on?
What was it?
It was for the All-Star game. It was for the home run derby. There was we all assume now was a clerical error early in the day.
Because they paid so much
It
money.
was, so the line for total number of home runs to be hit was set at 265.5. And I was like, oh, I'm going to take that over. And then Andre came in, he was like, there's an odds boost. And that juice for hitting over 265 total was at minus 113. But there was an odds boost for the home run derby to produce 240 home runs, which is 25 home runs less, and the juice was plus 420.
Yeah, that's wild.
And so
that is a clerical error. There's no way.
And they took it down later that day, and we all bet on it. We made an unbelievable amount of money, and now we're just like. I think honestly, I don't know.
Jelly. I'm gonna have you help me get this Giannis one because I'm trying to get. I can't figure it out.
Don't talk DraftKings out of taking money out of our people's pockets.
Yeah, dude. These odds boosts are great, man. They're really.
Well, I'm saying
the odds boosts over the last month have been fantastic, and I'm gonna keep riding this wave.
Yo, you got to get on DraftKings.
I'm back up another 1,000.
And you got to pay attention. Watch our bet show every day. They give out literal winners every day, and sometimes. It's possibly illegal. I don't know if I have to. I don't know if I have to report myself to the FBI or something. I may do it just to be safe.
And we're back talking about Strava Craft Coffee. Wow.
Man, you've ever been on vacation.
I know.
Holy smokes.
You can get 25% off your first purchase when you use code DNVR25. You can also get 20% off every single purchase after that if you use that code when you sign up for their subscription service, which is every 2, 4, 6, or 8 weeks. Just the even.
Yeah, you forgot your light print. It's always like, not 7, but then again, not 5 or 3 either. So
changed my life when you pointed that out. Yeah, make sure you do this. The CBD infused coffee. It's a great way to get your coffee without getting the edge too much caffeine gives you. Take the edge off that anxiety as well. That IBS, if you're like me, and now you all know, purchase online for 20% off using code DNVR25 at Strava Craft Coffee.
All right, back here for the final segment on Hump Day. My favorite segment we do, snake drafting, baby. We're
Can I make my first pick?
Superpowers.
The ability to fast forward through time.
Kale, am I pick number 1? Oh, yes, you are. This is my first pick number 1, and I wish it came on any other one except for this one.
Adam, so just so you know.
Is that why you
just so you know, Adam, the number 1 pick wins these 98% of the time.
I'm telling you, but here's the thing that's different about me and everybody else on Earth.
Oh, boy.
I'm completely honest, man.
Wow.
I'm completely honest. My picks are not to win over the crowd.
See, remember, he doesn't think Jurassic Park's good. 3rd pick.
No. Jurassic Park is one of my favorite movies. Don't say that.
Film franchises.
Well, I didn't like any of the other ones, but I do.
Saying.
But I really love Jurassic Park. That's what I'm trying to say.
Your honesty is noted.
You're honest but misguided.
For sure. I'll take that. To me, that's not an insult. Man, my first one is like, it's not the best superpower.
Just be honest.
But it is my favorite superpower. Flying.
I love it.
Every person in there said, don't say flight, don't say flight, don't say flight.
I'm taking flying. Did they really? Don't say flying.
This is iconic.
I want to be able to fly.
Hey, at least you were honest.
Flying is overrated. How is flying overrated?
None of us can even do it.
I wouldn't even. I'm not. People assume I'm trying to take over the world. I'm not. I'm just trying to have a good time.
I know that's.
Flight.
Everyone's going to assume these are like fighting powers.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just trying to
just have a great one, man. Flight. Number 1, flying. I can't believe people are against that one before I even picked it. Oh, that kills me.
Well, then I'll just take being tall. Can I take
height and flight.
I will take
I can't believe flying is not popular.
Kale, I'm gonna go to you as a judge here. Time manipulation, time travel, time stopping. Can I fold those into one?
What is it? Time
You
travel?
just pick one. We got.
Yeah, time travel works.
I am.
And we should clarify, this is through just time, not through time and space.
Well, I think space-time is interwoven. So.
It's a continuum.
Yeah.
All right, with the third pick in the draft that I'm least excited for, I am going to take. So Adam has taken flying. I'm going to take teleportation. It's the same as flying, although you're just walking to
but
where
his
you get.
Mine's way more
This is
fun.
fun.
Whee!
We never specify like you're topped out at 25 miles per hour.
Yeah,
It's like a Lime scooter. You're like,
yeah,
Jesus
yeah.
Just a slow crawl
slow.
through the air.
So you know,
Butterfly speed, really.
you know
is all
that
it got.
they always use these to sort of discover your personality type. Would you rather fly or be invisible? I would like to be invisible. No one bother me.
Do you guys remember the Kevin Bacon movie where he's invisible? Hollow Man.
Hollow Man.
And he uses it just to go around seeing women naked.
That's exactly. I would not do that at all. You know what? I would just be not bothered. That's what I'm like.
unbothered.
Like people would walk into a room and they'd be like, "Where's Eric?" And I would just be sitting there like, "Just walk out. Just
Now,
walk out."
here's the
walk
thing I
out.
wonder about invisibility is like, do you show up on like infrared?
No, I'm invisible, Holmes.
All right, that's true. What do you think about that?
Are you basing the
Kale?
entire thing on Kevin Bacon's Hollow Man?
Yeah, that's how it was. I just kept waiting. You kept waiting for like a real like conflict, and it's like it just keeps like molesting people. It's really like kind of creepy.
Well, that's why it's sort of like a psychological tell. But I just really just don't want to be bothered.
What do you think, Kale? Is it fair that he also doesn't show up on infrared or like radar?
I mean, like, traditionally when someone's invisible, that's, like, kind of how it works.
All right.
I'm with the guys on this one.
All right. Full invisibility. That's a good one. I'm not gonna lie.
It's invisible, but you can see his clothes.
Well, in the movie Hollow Man,
Yeah.
I saw it in. I know this Hollow Man's gonna come up at least 15 more times. I saw it when we were in high school, and we kept the joke afterwards was like, "Wow, we saw digitally enhanced Kevin's bacon over and over." you saw what was clearly a penis that was revealed by water, revealed by fire extinguisher,
Male form corner.
mail form.
I will. In addition to being a time traveler, I would also like to be telepathic, Kel.
That's a really good one. Wait, telepathic.
What is that exactly?
Like being able to speak with people, control
Oh, that's right,
minds,
through your
manipulating
mind.
thoughts,
But
kind of.
wait, you can't read them. You could only communicate to them, right?
It's been pretty vaguely defined.
I think this one is more you can send messages through your brain. So you
Can I
be like,
manipulate minds? What do you think?
no, that's too much, man.
I'm
just curious.
Power, but, like,
Yeah.
maybe a little, like,
Yeah, you're not
influence.
You're not controlling. You're putting your thoughts into other people's brains.
Just gonna put little Easter eggs in there.
Yeah.
Like Taco Bell, and then that person is like, you know what sounds really fucking good right now?
Taco Bell.
Bell.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
wow, way cooler than flying. You can get people.
You'll be
You have the power to get people to want Taco Bell.
Yeah,
at
you're
any
like
time.
Taco Bell. I'll be right back in 10 minutes. While I fly there. Me, right at Taco Bell.
right at Taco Bell. Man, this next one is really tough. We're starting to run out of the cool ones. I'm gonna go.
He definitely is. Too.
I'm gonna go with seeing the future.
Oh.
Clairvoyant? Yeah, like seeing the future.
So you're gonna Brendan would disappear and then you would see where he's gone.
Exactly. I didn't even know he was about to disappear.
Wow. Wow.
I get another one here.
You do.
Holy smokes.
Adam takes hammer. That's an inside joke for the studio.
Hammer. I'm gonna go with. Can we just call it like?
No.
I already love this one.
Yeah, me too. Can I call it like monkey?
Where is it like in the Matrix where you learn real quickly? You could learn anything instantly.
Well, that was like
you like
uploading.
Is that a superpower?
That was
Yeah,
was computer based.
Super learning?
Super intelligence.
super intelligent. Oh,
intelligence.
super
Call it super
intelligence, man.
intelligence.
I mean, so intelligent.
Big brain.
Flying all over and seeing the future. Unstoppable already. Super intelligence. I can't believe that's one.
I'm gonna stick with my the letter of the day is T. For the kids at home, I will take telekinesis.
Oh, I will take telephone.
Dude, that one would be a really fun one That one would be like almost as fun as flying.
It's
Just being able
telekinesis, Holmes.
Where you move things. Like
Yeah,
the
With your
Transformers
mind.
stuff?
He moves things with your mind. Basically, Brendan doesn't want to move.
I would actually just only go to Celtics games and make Tatum miss every.
Oh man, Nuggets would win every championship.
Yeah.
That'd be so fun.
I like how I went to marring Tatum's career before I gave Denver a title.
Exactly. Man, that would be a fun one if you think about it, though. Like just being able to manipulate your own team. Every shot Jokic put, he's the first player in history to shoot 100% from the field.
Why is that fun? You're just like, he's going to make it. How do you know? I'm going to make him make it.
Yeah. You don't think that'd be I think that'd be incredible fun.
I think the fun part about sports is not knowing what's going to happen.
Well.
Wow. All right. Woo. Is it already me again? Is it already me again? Let us. Holy smokes.
We've
You
got
mean
a-
of these things that are made up? Wow. I think I want to go. I think I want really stretchy arms.
Like, stretchy.
I love this. So
Is it just arms or like legs too?
Just the arms. I only want my arms.
stretchy.
Just the arm. That's like I think you should leave sketch. That's like,
How much stretch are we talking about here?
At least 1.5 times.
we're fighting off an alien invasion. Eric stays completely flat to the ground, but the arms.
Wow.
He would be an
wow.
incredible boxer, though, if you think about it.
So good,
Teleporting, slap.
Like taking convenience powers. Like, I'm invisible. I don't want to move.
Yeah, mine are all basically based on just being able to get Taco Bell as easy as possible.
You kind of just have the Fantastic Four. So.
I totally do. I was being a rock guy. I guess, you know what? I'm going to go super strength. F it. I don't care.
Super strength. Wow.
Go to the 4th round. That's impressive.
Yeah.
I don't really.
It's just kind of boring.
I don't
but
really have much use
Is
for
Hulk the super strength?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. You're like the Hulk. With stretchy arms.
Stretch.
I will stick with the letter of the theme.
Oh,
of the
no.
day theme.
Hold
Go
on, let me
with
guess, let me guess.
Teletubby.
Oh.
Teletubbies.
I will be invulnerable, please.
What's that mean?
It means that I can't be hurt physically.
Yeah,
I
you
can't be
hurt
destroyed.
physically. Even with it doesn't matter how strong or stretching my arms are. I couldn't.
You could wrap those suckers around me.
But what
for
I'm saying is,
days.
like, can he break your arm? You just don't feel the pain, or he can't break your arm.
What do you think, Kale? Cannot, right?
I feel like not being able to break a person's arm.
When you get the comics, there's characters that have heal factors. And
Yeah.
I don't want to get into that whole thing. So we're just going to say you're like, can't be hurt.
unbreakable, invincible, one might say.
Yeah.
That seems like unfair. Like, all right, I'm immortal.
Well, then you should have taken it one, bro.
Yeah, you should read. Don't read Superman. You'll be very bored.
Yeah,
That'd be
but
very
I
boring.
also don't want to be immortal. Like that's
What
that
about,
sounds like a
what about
nightmare.
emotionally
Like, kill me
invulnerable? Are you
eventually.
also emotionally invulnerable?
I mean, that's not even possible.
He's already a
even
superhero.
in
Oh
a
no,
fantasy land.
no, he's not yet.
I'm still
I'm
sensitive.
a superhero.
Alcoholic.
Dead inside. Is that
Dead
a?
inside? All right, this one was the one I knew I could wait till the fifth round to take this one. Actually, I'll wait till the fifth round. I'll take a different one here. I'm gonna go with super speed.
Nice.
Oh yeah,
Very
hell
fast.
yeah, bro.
Not only can I fly, but I'm super fast.
You're
on
like,
the ground.
yeah, you're like, shall I fly there? You're like, I can get there faster by running.
That's right. Take the scenic route or just get there directly. And then my next one, communication with the animals.
Yeah.
I've just dominated this one. Every animal now under my command.
Whoa. You were just talking to
Every
them, and
animal.
now you're controlling them.
Well, if you talk to animals, can't talk. Like if you could talk to a dog, it wouldn't say anything.
Yeah, but you would just kind of understand its plight, and
I'm saying, well,
act
I want
accordingly.
Kale. What is the one where I can like that? I have
Control animals?
dominion over the animals. Dominion. Can control animals. Holy shit, this is even better.
It's pretty sick, bro.
Like I can sick a high.
The land version of Aquaman is what you're going for.
Yeah.
Dude, oh, you guys are all effed.
Landman.
Landman. Let's do it. I feel like I took the best one in the fifth round. This
It's
is
so
crazy.
good, dude. So good.
I wanted to take it second after flying, but I was like, it'll still be there, and I was right.
Adam, you might lose worse this week than you did last week.
What?
No,
There's no way.
I'm going to lose this draft.
Stretch arms is like really, really a tough one. I have a feeling that one would have been on the board a while.
I would also just for this one's for fun now. At the end, I'll be a shapeshifter.
Oh, I like that one. So you could become like a couch.
That's all I would do. That's would be my first transformation.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Can you wait? Hold on, because I feel like becoming an animal is a different one. So like you can't become an animal, just things or shapes.
I mean, I can feign looking like an animal.
Okay, but you can only. You still have to like walk like a person on all fours. I don't know
man.
either. All right, shape shifting.
And with you, the last pick.
The last pick.
Superpower draft.
Can I just like be a car?
What? That doesn't make sense. There's so many. Hey,
Please,
so you know,
please leave that.
be a car. We have overtime coming up. You have to pick 5 more. You have to pick 5 more for DNVR members only. It's going to go. All right, so this is our official ballot. We do have an unofficial second round that we're going to pick. It's going to be for DNVR subscribers. We're way over time. Or only 5 minutes overtime. So, guys, we're going to tweet this out here shortly. You can let us know who won. I might have won this one, you guys.
I don't know, dude. I just got be a car in the 5th round.
Be a car. Thanks, everybody, for hanging with us. We're going to be back again tomorrow to same time. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Talk
Drop
about
a little Marvel reference.
Talk about a superpower, and that's DC. Let's go.
Batman doesn't actually have a superpower, though, right?
Nope, he's just rich.
He's just very rich. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.